Okay, let's begin with the session. So, my name is Ashish Jagdale. I'm a data analyst at CloudFronts, and I'll be having with me my colleague Ankita and also managing partner Mr. Anil Shah, who will be interacting with me in this session. So, let's have a look on this today's session, the agenda of this today's webinar. Firstly, we'll have a quick recap on the previous Power BI webinars conducted in the last few months. Then we'll have a look on Azure Data Factory, introduction to Azure Data Factory, a quick demo, and various other features of Azure Data Factory. And next, we'll have a look on Power BI updates, desktop tool as well as online updates. Okay, a quick recap on previous webinars. So we have started with Power BI webinars since last 4 months. So we started with what's new in Power BI. We discussed about what is Power BI, the working of Power BI, different connectors available, features, and with the help of some demo. Also, we went deep dive into Power BI with the help of real-time analytics using REST API, and then we also went deep dive into the different updates of September and October. Okay, so let's begin with,
Ashish,
yes, Anil.
um, you know, um, the we started with the sessions from early June, and from there on, we've done all the webinars. We've been writing good blogs,
Yeah.
and it seems that as of early this week, the Power BI community blog is also up and running, which is great. And we have also started submitting blogs to the Power BI community blog so that everybody following that blog, which is the official Microsoft community blog, can also read our blogs and articles. So the whole reason for doing all this, the sessions, the blogs, the syndication with community blog is so that we can keep getting our knowledge out there, and hopefully our partners, customers, and anybody else out there can benefit through.
Yes, Anil, that's correct. Okay, so let's begin with the introduction to Azure Data Factory. So what is Azure Data Factory? It's a cloud-based data integration service that automates the movement and transformation of data. So this Azure Data Factory works across on-premise as well as cloud data sources, and it's built on Azure for integrating all kind of data. So Azure Data Factory, its ADF, can be accessed via the Azure Preview portal. So usually we access Azure with the help of manage.windowsazure.com. So by using this Azure Preview portal, that is portal.azure.com, you can create Azure Data Factory and you can start using the services of Azure Data Factory. So let's have a look at the key concepts in Azure Data Factory. So there are mainly four key concepts. First is a data set. So a data set identify the data structure within different data stores, including your tables, files, folders, and documents. So next one is the link services. So it defines the information needed for data factory to connect to external resources. So if you are connecting to some target or you're connecting to some source and target, so you need to define the link services. Next is the pipeline. So pipeline is used to perform logical grouping of activities. So you can perform a task like you want to perform some activity like copy activity, you can do with the help of this pipeline. Finally, what is an activity? So with the help of this activity, you can migrate or you can move your data with the help of various activities, like we are going to use and demonstrate a copy activity in Azure Data Factory. So this is what the concept is: data set, activity, pipeline, and link services. So link services link different services, your source and your sink, and your pipeline manages the logical grouping of all your activities, and the data set holds your data for source and the destination. This is the overall diagram or architecture of Azure Data Factory. So we have on the left hand side, we have different data sources. Then it 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 goes to various processes like ingestion, then preparation of data, then transform and analyze. Finally, it publishes to some sink, that is a destination, and you can consume this data by different services, like you can use Power BI to create interactive reports. So we'll be demonstrating this as well in this demo. So these are the different supported data stores. That is, copy activities copy data from source to a sink, that is the destination. So it supports the following data stores. One is the cloud and another one is the on-premise. So you can see the list of data stores supported by Azure Data Factory. Also, you can click on the link given below if you want to see many other data sources stores available. Okay, so let's have a look at the demo of Azure Data Factory. I'll go to my Azure, that is manage.windowsazure.com. But as I said, if you want to access Azure Data Factory, you need to go to portal.azure.com. So this is the new window, that is portal.azure.com, which is still in preview mode. So to create a new Azure Data Factory, what you can do is you can click on new over here and then go to Data Plus Analytics. Click on Data Plus Analytics, and here is the option, that is Data Factory. Click on Data Factory, then you can give your Data Factory a name. So I'll give as ADF CFS demo. Okay, so I'll select a resource group name. So one thing to keep in mind is that the region should be West, US or North. So I'll create this Azure Data Factory with the name. So this name is available over here, ADF CFS demo. I'll create. So it will take a few seconds to create. Meanwhile, I'll go back to the slide deck. So what we are going to see in demo is the demo consists of a copy data activity from the CSV file, which is stored in Azure Blob Storage. And we are going to move this data from we are going to copy this data from Azure Blob Storage to Azure SQL Database using Azure Data Factory Editor. Okay, so these are the steps. We have 5 different steps to do this process. First one is create an Azure Data Factory. So we have already created and it's in process. So next step is to create linked services. Third, so we know what are linked services, we have discussed a few minutes back. So third is to create input and output table, that is your data set. So the data set will hold the input and output table. Fourth step is to create and run a pipeline. So we have also discussed about what is pipeline. And finally, we'll be monitoring this pipeline with the help of data slices because we are going to schedule this activity. So we'll monitor with the help of data slices. I'll go back. Okay, so the data factory has been created. You can see your data factory, that is ADF CFS demo, and the region is West US. Okay, so we'll move forward. So to create a data factory, we are going to deal with 3 different things as discussed. One is the Azure Blob Storage, another one is Azure SQL Database, and third one is a data factory. So to start with, we need to have our source. So in our case, the source is Azure Storage. So we have created one Azure Storage, that is with the name as ADF CFS Storage. So if you look at it, we have also created one container which will hold our data. We have a data in a CSV file. You can also have a text file or any other file. So right now I'm in a CSV file. So the structure. So what I'll do is, this is the CSV file which will act as our input. So the structure of CSV file is something like we have taken few records as an opportunity record with fields as the opportunity name, the status of the opportunity, the estimated revenue, and finally the contact person. So what we will do is we will dump this CSV file in a container. So I'll copy the CSV file. So this is Azure Explorer. So this will help me to move my file into the container which is on Azure. So I'll paste it over here. Okay, so this is opportunity demo is my CSV file which is right now on container. So if I go back to my container and if I refresh this, okay, so here is the file. So this is the file CSV file which will act as an input in our case. So the output, that is the Azure SQL database. So we also need to have an Azure SQL database. So here is the section that is SQL databases. So I have created one Azure SQL database with the name as ADF CFS. So what I'll do is I'll connect to this database with the help of SQL Server Management Studio. So I have already connected this with the server name, and this is the database ADF CFS demo. So what we will do is we already have a source, so we need to create our destination. So I'll create one table so that all the fields, that is opportunity name, the status, the revenue, and the contact person, all the information or all the data will be moved on to my Azure SQL database. So I'll create one table to hold this data in my destination. I'll execute this. Okay, so if I refresh over here, you'll be able to see the table, that is opportunity demo. Okay, here is the table, opportunity demo, where we are going to dump our data. So I'll go back to Azure Data Factory now. So what I've done is I'm ready with my source and the destination. So my CSV file is ready and my destination table is also ready to accept the data. So next step is I'll start creating the data sets, pipelines, and the linked services. So I'll click on author and deploy. So here is an option over here, author and deploy. So I'll click this. As you can see over here, there are different sections as discussed. It is linked service, data sets, and pipelines. So I'll start with creating linked services. I'll click on new data store, and first I'll create a linked service for storage account. So I need to specify over here the storage account name and the account key. So right now my account name is ADF CFS storage, as you can see over here. This is the account name. So I'll specify over here ADF CFS storage. So next is the account key. So how to get this key? When you click on this, here is an option, manage access keys. So if you click on manage access keys, you will find the key over here, primary access key. And you need to copy this and you have to paste it over here in account key. I'll simply copy paste this account key. So I'm done with account name and account key. So I can deploy this. Okay. So next is to create a linked service for Azure SQL database. So what I need over here is I need the server name, the database name, and the username and password for the database. So my server name is, I have copied it over here. So this is my server name. So my server name dot windows dot database dot windows dot net and my database name. So my database name is ADF CFS. So I'll write it over here, ADF CFS. Next is a username at the server name. So once again, I'll need this server name. I'll copy and paste it over here. And my username is cfadmin. And finally the password. So I've given one password as CloudFront1. All right. So I'm done with all the required connection string, username, password. So I can deploy this right now. Okay, so I'm done with the link services. So next step is to create a data set. So right now there are no data sets. So I'll start with creating a data set for Azure Blob Storage. So I've already formatted the script for Azure Blob Storage. I'll simply copy this script. I'll explain you in short what is this script about. So this script contains the name first, the name of the data set, then the structure. So I have 4 different fields in my input database, that is a CSV file. We have specified the type as well, and then the file name. This is very important parameter. So the name of my file in Azure container is opportunity demo.csv. Next one is the folder paths. So the folder path. So my container name is ADF container. So I've specified over here ADF container, and the column delimiter is comma. So data is separated with the help of comma as a delimiter. So I can deploy this. So next one is to create a data store for Azure SQL. Also I have a code for Azure SQL. So I'll simply copy this code. So this is the code for Azure SQL, same structure as that of for Azure Blob. So only thing is we need to specify the table names. So in our case, the table name is opportunity demo. So I've specified over here table name as opportunity demo, and rest of the things remain the same. So I'll deploy it. Okay, so once this is done, so next step is to create. Okay, so deployment of dataset for Azure SQL is done. So next step is to create pipeline. So I'll click on new pipeline. So once again, I'll copy paste the code for pipeline. This is the code for pipeline. So what this code does is pipeline, it will help to move our data from input to output. As you can see over here, our input is the data set that is opportunity demo from blob, and the output is opportunity demo to Azure SQL. That means we are moving data from Azure blob to Azure SQL. And there are various other parameters like at what time we need to schedule. So today's date is 19 and this will be scheduled as per the UTC time. And the frequency is hourly. It will get scheduled at the interval of 1, that is every hour it will. So I've only scheduled once, that is between 2 to 3 p.m. So I'll just deploy this. Okay, so once this is done, so we can now monitor our data. So now if I query select stuff from, so right now there is no data, so we can monitor this. So this is my Azure Data Factory on the dashboard. So to monitor, you can click on Azure Data Factory and then click on diagram. So you'll get to see the flow, that is opportunity from blob to opportunity demo to Azure SQL. So when I double click on this, you'll be able to get the status. So it's still executing. The process is still going on. So it will take a few seconds to get execute. Okay, so meanwhile this is executing, we can go back to a slide deck. Okay, so what is the pricing? So as we have seen, it is based on the frequency of activities. So right now we had one activity, that is copy activity. So low frequency means 0 or 1 activity, and high frequency if we are having more than one activity. So based on that, as well as your source and target. So it's a cloud-based source or on-premise source. So you will be charged as per that. And also you'll be charged for the data movement. So if it's in cloud, so it will be charged as specified over here, and also for the pipelines. So this is a pricing scheme for Azure Data Factory. So next is a limit. So there are a few limits, like you can create by default 100 pipelines, 500 data sets, and concurrent slices will be 10. But you can maximize the limit with the help of contacting the support person. And one thing to note is Azure Data Factory is available in US, West US and North Europe. So you have to select this region, these two particular region while creating Azure Data Factory. Otherwise it won't work. But the compute and storage services, like we created a blob storage. So that is independent of the location, but the data factory which we created should be in West US and North Europe. So I'll go back to demo. Okay, so this is in ready state right now. And we can go back now to our table and we'll run this query again. Yes, this is the output which we got from the CSV file in Azure Blob right now, right into our Azure SQL database with the help of using Azure Data Factory. So this is how we can use the concept of Azure Data Factory. So next is to work with, if you want to visualize and analyze this data by connecting to external data source like Power BI in our case. So I can connect to my Azure SQL database from within Power BI and start analyzing this data. So what I'll do is I'll open my Power BI desktop tool. Then the get data in my case is the source is my SQL server. So I'll specify the server name once again. So I have a server name with me. I'll specify the server name, the database name, ADF CFS. So this is a database name. And I'll hit OK. So once you have entered this server name and database name, you can give the username and password. I'll click on connect. So this Power BI will connect to your Azure SQL database and it will fetch the tables, required tables. So there are two tables right now, opportunity and opportunity demo. So a few minutes back, we pulled this data from the CSV file in blob to Azure SQL database. So now we are using this data from Azure SQL database right into our Power BI to analyze it further. So I load this data in my Power BI desktop tool so that I can start creating beautiful visualizations and filter this data. So right now it is loading into my data model. If you have any queries so far, you can type in the question box. Okay, so this is loaded. You can see over here. Also, you can have a look on the data model. So I'll go back to my data set. So now you can analyze your data like I want to see for opportunity by estimated revenue. So this is how you can start analyzing your data. Okay, so the next part that is regarding Power BI updates, desktop tool and online will be conducted by my colleague Ankita. So I'll hand over to Ankita. Thank you so much.
So in the meanwhile, if anybody has any questions, please free to type them. We know we have these webinars running every month. So the next one is going to be, I think, somewhere in mid-December. It's a good Christmas present. And I think Ankita should get started in very soon. But happy to have you guys here on this session. So and happy to see Power BI keep evolving. So go ahead, Ankita.
Yes, Anil. Hello everyone. This is Ankita Anchan and I'll be taking you through few of the Power BI updates this and last month. First let's take a look on what all has been listed down. This session I have divided in two parts, that is updates in Power BI desktop and updates in Power BI online services. First we will take a look on updates in Power BI desktop. In desktop tool, I'll be demonstrating three features, that is refreshing single table instead of all the tables for the reports and data views. Second, improvements in the slicer visualization, and third is the new word cloud visualization. Let's take a look. First, now I'll be using the same Power BI file created by Ashish. Now in this, first I would like to tell you about the refreshing feature. Now, before this update, we used to click on this tab refresh to refresh all the tables and data sets in our file. So what happened is, if I want to refresh a particular file in which the update or changes has been done, I had to by default refresh all the data sets in my report. But after this update, we have an option over here, that is refresh data. If I click on this, only the particular data set which has some changes or updation done is only refreshed. It saves lots of time and efforts for the user and can do our work even more faster and easier. Being a small update, but it helps a lot when you have many data set in your report. Moving on to the next, we have a slicer visualization available here. If I select the opportunity name as a data, as you can see, it is not that user friendly visualization. Previously we could not change any of the formatting options, but now we have many formatting options. Along with that, we can now sort the data in the rows. Now let's see for the formatting options. When I click on format, I have several options like general. I can change the color of the outline. Say I want some darker color. I can change the width of the outline. Similarly for the header, I can change the font color of the header. I can change the background of the header. And at the same time, the best thing is I can change the text size of the header. Now this makes a prominent difference between the rows and the header line. Now what about the rows? They feel to be too small for us to filter our data and get a good visualization. Now if suppose I have many data in my visualization, it becomes very difficult for me to search for particular thing. So now similarly for as for the header, we have it for the rows. We can change the color of the rows, we can change the background, and we can change the text size also. Now it's look prominently bigger and easier for the user to select and filter the data. The tile and the background is similar to the other visualizations available. So this is what makes the slicer visualization really good for the user to easily filter and get the data done. Moving on to the next visualization, we have a cloud word visualization support. For that, I have to click on the ellipsis. I have to import the cloud word PBI Viz file from the Power BI Visual Gallery. So it is successfully imported. You can see the new icon present over here. Now what if I have a simple text data with me and I want to create some good reports? It is not that user friendly and it looks do not look that attractive for the user to see such text data. We know that pictures speak more than the words, but what if the words itself be a part of the picture? So now I'm clicking to the word cloud. See, the text data has given a new visualization effect. Now let's take a look on the formatting options available for this visualization. We can change the maximum number, we can change the minimum and maximum font size, the word breaking. Word breaking is if I put it off, the full word or the sentence comes in a one line itself. If I put it on, it will break with a delimiter of space. Similarly, we have another option that is stop word. If you can see in this visualization, using is a word that has given a good big font size because of its frequency in our data set. If I don't want this using word to be in my visualization, I just have to type the word in the stop word pane and you can see that the using word has been disappeared. So this help us to remove the small words which are not that prominent to our visualization. Similarly, we have rotate angle option which gives us an changing minimum angle, maximum angle and even the number of angle. Number of angle is 2. If I change it to 5, the dimension automatically changes. So it again gives a good look to our visualization, and the tile and the background options are similar to the other visualization available. So that's all on the Power BI desktop part. Now moving on to our Power BI online, I'll be demonstrating two new features, that is group by admin and member right and duplicate report page. Let's take a look. Now I'll move on to the my online service account. So here, this is my account with name Ankita Anchal, and I'll be creating a new group from my workspace, clicking on this plus icon. If I create a group CFS BI, and there are privacy options that says private, only approved members can see what's inside, or anyone can see. If I want only my members to see what's inside, I'll keep it the same. The second option is member can edit the Power BI content. No, I don't want my members to edit the Power BI content, so I can change it to members can only view the Power BI content. Now I have to add few of the members to it. I'll add myself. I'll add Ashish to the group. Now as you can see, we have an option over here which says admin or member. I'll make myself as admin and keep Ashish as a member. Now I'm not saving this group as I have already created a group with same name. Now let's take a look on the group. This is my account where I have the access to the data set, reports as well as the dashboard. Now I being an admin, I can change the data, I can edit, I can schedule refresh, I can delete the data and do whatever stuff needed for my report. Now let's take a look what happens when I log into Ashish account. This is Ashish account. As you can see, Ashish being a member can view only the dashboard and reports. There is no data set available for him to edit the data. This means that the member can only view what all changes has been done or what is going on in our project, but he cannot edit or any schedule refresh cannot be done by the member. Now I will edit my group by making Ashish as an admin. So I will save the changes. Now what happens is along with me, Ashish is also an admin. So Ashish has now the rights to edit the data as well as make the required changes. Now I will refresh Ashish account so that the changes are visible. Now as you can see, Ashish account also has an data set which can be scheduled and refreshed and edited whatever an admin has a right. So very good feature where privacy is maintained at an high level. Now next update is a very small update but will be helpful a lot. As you can see, if I create some visualization which needs to be repeated every time I get a new filter. So what I can do is I can create once and I can duplicate this by clicking on this tab, that is duplicate this page. When I click on duplicate, as you can see, a new page is created with a duplicate of page 1. Now I have two pages with same data. Now, if I have a scenario where the visualization remains the same and only filters has to be applied on the same visualization, maybe by year, month, day, but the visualization remains same. So the efforts of creating same visualization again and again and the time is saved and we can easily add filters and create a new report. So that's all from my side. Thank you. Any questions?
So we have a next webinar to be scheduled on 17th of December 2015. So if you have any questions, you can ask. So we have unmuted all the attendees. If you have any questions, you can ask or you can type in the question box. All right, thank you so much for attending today's webinar. If you have any queries, you can contact us at info@cloudfunds.com, or you can directly contact me, that is ajagdali@cloudfunds.com. Thank you so much. See you in the next webinar. Have a nice day.